Cognitive dissonance, I'll just finish. I'm long-winded, I apologize. Cognitive dissonance is the idea that you have a belief and you have an action, and your action contradicts your belief. This creates a type of dissonance in the psyche, in the soul. And so there's one of two solutions to get rid of the dissonance. One of them is that you change your belief. And this is very often what people do. So they begin to justify their actions. The other is to change your actions. And so in a culture where you're dressing modestly and you're in a culture where other women don't dress like you do, for some people that can create a problem in the self, because their religion is telling them to do something, and yet outside people are doing another thing. And so the men have a hard time. Well, first and foremost, there's no time in Muslim history that you did not have half-dressed women walking around. And if you don't believe me, just look at the images of the Orientalists in Egypt, even 100 years ago. Because a lot of what were called ima, their nakedness was not their tops, it was only from the surra to the rukba. And so there were women, Nubian women, walking around. So this idea, this obsessive idea that we have to cover up our women completely and force upon them some kind of codes and things like that. God says in the Quran, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the believers to lower their eyes. Why would that injunction be in there if there wasn't things to look at? If everybody's walking around in one of those Beekeepers bags, then why would you even have a verse that tells you not to do that? And I personally, and I'm not culturally sensitive on this issue, I personally think that putting a woman in something like that, to me personally, I have a really hard time as a Muslim. I have a hard time with that. And I know I was taught to be culturally sensitive in all these things, but I think women need to be honored. They need to be not denigrated. I would prefer to see women honor themselves also. There are certain ways of dressing that can be very provocative, and they don't help the men. And there are certain bestial men out there that will do things that are very troubling to women. We have rapists. I mean, America, we have a problem of rape. So these are problems, but I would argue that you have to find ways of being true to your own principles and your own self without also demanding that other people be true to those same principles, because we're all on this planet together and we have to learn to live with one another.